Clare County, Michigan. A quiet land bathed in the glow of sunrise. No one could imagine the shadows lurking behind this calm morning. 15-year-old Randy Laufer walks down the road after school. A boy with his whole life ahead, unaware that danger already waits inside his home. Randy's mother watches from the window. She thinks it's just another ordinary afternoon. It will be the last time she sees him. At school, classmates laugh, whisper, carry on with teenage chatter. Randy blends in easily, but his absence later will strike like a knife. John McRae, the man who hides in plain sight. To the world, he looks ordinary. To investigators, he is a name that keeps resurfacing. In his small, dim living room, John sits silently, his face show. From the shadows, John McRae studies Joey. The boy plays without fear. A predator watches with cold patience. A child's innocent smile frozen in time. Joey Housey, 8 years old, holding his favorite toy, the boy who never came back home. From the shadows, John McRae studies Joey. The boy plays without fear. A predator watches with cold patience. A lonely night road, mist crawling along the trees. It's the kind of place where footsteps vanish, and so do boys. The abandoned building stands like a silent witness. Cracked walls, broken windows, places where children vanish without a sound. Two men lean close in a hushed conversation, whispers of a runaway boy. But beneath those whispers, suspicion begins to grow. Parents plead with the authorities. Their son didn't just run away. Outside, McRae walks alone. His face is grave, his thoughts still darker. He knows the woods better than anyone and what they hide. John smokes by the window, pretending calm. But the police know his past. His presence here is no coincidence. Sunset falls on the boardwalk. Couples stroll, children run, music drifts. The world feels normal. That's when predators feel safest. Carnival lights spin, golden against the night. For some, it's joy. For others, it's the perfect hunting ground. McRae approaches a young boy near the carousel. Their words are casual, but beneath the lights, a predator makes his move. In the misty woods, John pauses. His profile is sharp, his eyes scanning. These trees know more than they will ever reveal. McRae hides the boy's body in a coffin and leaves with determination. A prison wall stretches under moonlight. Cold stone, barbed wire. Inside lurks a man who should never have walked free again. Down a concrete corridor, McRae walks beside another inmate. Rumors swirl about favors, about secrets, about boys who vanished. A night sky cloaks the county road. Headlights slice the fog, carrying investigators who refuse to give up the search. Through the trees, faint beams cut the darkness. Search parties move methodically. A lonely house glows in the night. The kind of place where families gather, or where horrors are hidden. A box of belongings spills open. Clothes, toys, photos, innocent objects that now feel like evidence of a stolen childhood. Red and blue lights flare in the night. For parents, hope flickers, maybe an answer is coming. For McRae, it means danger closing in. John sits stiff in questioning. His eyes locked, his face expressionless. He has lied before, and he knows how to lie again. A boy sits alone, silence filling the room. His absence from home now, an echo no one can escape. McRae turns away, his face shadowed. He avoids the gaze of those who demand the truth, but truth has never been his companion. Moonlight spills through cracked windows of an empty hall. Places like this feel haunted not by ghosts, but by memories of the missing. A boy plays under a golden autumn tree. He looks carefree, unaware that such innocence is what predators seek most. Inside a cramped room, investigators sift through clues. Each scrap of paper, each object, may be the key to a boy's fate. Rows of gravestones stretch into the distance. Families gather here to mourn, but for some parents, there is no grave to visit. Dark branches twist overhead as searchers comb the woods. Each step crackles with fear. What if the next discovery is a body? A storm brews over the forest. Rain lashes down. For investigators, weather won't stop the hunt. For killers, storms wash away evidence. A dim cabin interior. Papers scattered on the table. Each page, a piece of evidence. Each note, a cry from the missing. Detectives huddle under lantern light. Tired eyes scan maps and files. The weight of lost children hangs heavy in the room. Stacks of police reports pile high. Names, faces, timelines, but none of them bring the missing boys back. McRae stands alone, framed by cold stone. He looks ordinary, but behind his eyes, unspeakable violence waits. Dawn breaks across the field. A new day for investigators. The same nightmare for grieving parents. A desk full of files, photographs, fingerprints, evidence scattered like puzzle pieces that refuse to fit together. Two empty boats float in the mist. No voices, no oars. Just silence on the water, an absence that chills the heart. Through fog and darkness, searchlights cut the night. Still, no trace. The woods seem determined to keep their secrets. McRae sits at a table, expression cold. He plays the part of a man wronged, but suspicion clings to him like a second skin. A car drives into the night, headlights piercing through rain. Investigators press forward, even as the trail grows colder. Early morning in Clare County, thick fog rising above the fields. A lone boy walks down a desolate road. Each step feels final, as if fate already knows the ending. McRae appears again, watching from a distance. His stare heavy, calculating. Predators rarely pounce, they wait. A child turns his head, sensing something behind him. The night feels alive, but it's only fear whispering too late. A boy's face close in frame, innocence mixed with unease. It's the look of someone. Mist curls through the trees. Shadows stretch unnaturally long. It's a perfect stage for a crime unseen. McRae moves deeper into the forest, his presence absorbed by darkness. Each step writes another page of horror. The autumn forest floor, scattered toys, an abandoned school bag, and a heavy silence. Neon carnival lights, laughter in the distance. John recalls luring a child here, promising joy, delivering silence. On the paper, a child's drawing. But in John McRae's memory, it's not innocent art. It's a map of where the boy took his last breath. Neon carnival lights, laughter in the distance. John recalls luring a child here, promising joy, delivering silence. A dog waits, tail still, loyal, confused. It's the only witness that never stopped searching for its boy among autumn leaves. Investigators kneel. A shoe, a torn cloth, the forest always remembers what man tries to hide. The boy's eyes filled with fear. McRae remembers that look. He fed off it. Inside his cell, McRae stares at nothing. But behind those cold eyes, he replays every scream. Exterior of rural Michigan trailer. Overcast evening, wind moving dry leaves, cinematic wide shot, subtle shadows, 73. A lonely shack. Some say it was just a house. To others, it's a graveyard of vanished children. Through rubble and rain, police dogs search. They catch a scent the past refuses to stay buried. A skull beneath broken stone, proof that McRae's memories weren't nightmares, they were confessions. A wall of faces, children who never returned. Each one a shadow McRae left behind. The sunset burns. For McRae, it was always the perfect time, dark enough to hide, bright enough to see fear. A boy wanders too far into the woods. To McRae, this was hunting ground, and the forest always closed in behind them. Side by side, predator and prey once walked. The boy didn't know. McRae never forgot. Old typewriters click, police files pile high. The case grew heavier each year, yet McRae stayed free. Rain, drenched streets, glowing lights. For every child missing, the world outside kept moving, cold, indifferent. A forest trail. Officers and dogs pressed deeper, the scent pulling them closer to graves McRae thought hidden. On his knees, McRae remembers. Every step in the leaves, every whisper of the trees. The woods know his sins. By the sea, a boy stares into the waves. McRae recalls how the ocean swallowed his cries. Golden light of evening, a child's last walk home. McRae's shadow trailed behind him. A library of forgotten files. Evidence, names, faces. Justice delayed, his justice denied. McRae, older now, haunted. But he knows one thing. The dead never stop following you. Boats drift on still water. For the families, hope drifts with them. The bodies may rest, but the truth floats forever. John McRae walks through the carnival crowds. To others, he's just another face. But to him, it's a hunting ground. A child's innocent eyes, staring at bright lights. McRae remembers how easy it was. Police sirens cut through the night. The city finally begins to stir, chasing a ghost it ignored for years. An open book. Names and notes scattered. The investigation grows deeper, but the truth remains darker than ink. Sunrise over the water. For the families, each new day is a cruel reminder of who's missing. McRae sits on his bed, waiting. He knows the sentence, he knows the rope, yet he has no regrets. A thick fog rolls over the forest. This is where the agents search, but McRae remembers. This is where he made them disappear. An old broken room, rusty frames and dust, silent witnesses to the crimes that have taken place here. A beach bathed in gold. For some, it is beauty. For others, it is where the tide has swept their child away. McRae walks through the prison yard, each step heavier than the last. His time is almost up. By a muddy river, detectives are digging, following the whispers of graves that may never be found. A deserted road, under the dim light of headlights. Every mile brings the investigation further from hope, but closer to the truth. The horizon shines, but peace never comes. For parents, sunset means just another day without answers. A child walks down a forest path, alone. McRae revisits a memory, one of many he has buried in the trees. Face to face with the law, McRae's mask begins to fall away. The hunter has nowhere to hide. The branches whisper in the night. The forest does not forget. It holds the cries in its roots. A boy stands in the rain, small and fragile. To McRae, he was never a boy, just prey. Another child, another night. McRae remembers them all not as names, but as trophies. Flooded wars, moonlight on water. Here, McRae drowned his innocence beneath the surface. Searchlights cut through the darkness. Officers walk through the swamp, chasing the past McRae as he tries to drown. Once McRae drove these roads with the kids in the back seat, roads that never took them home. Streetlights shine on the wet sidewalk. Somewhere nearby, the hunt is on. Justice finally smells good. 111. Martin McRae playing in backyard. Late afternoon sunlight through trees. Cinematic medium shot. Soft focus. Muted warm tones. An old broken home. For detectives, every wall whispers secrets that never left. The carnival glows again. To children, it's joy. To McRae, it was a perfect trap. Prison walls stretch high. McRae once held power here, not as an inmate, but as a guard. Now, the roles are reversed. The predator in chains, forced to face the same concrete he once ruled. Golden light washes the shore. Families search the sands, praying for signs that never came. A child walks alone toward the carnival lights, innocent stepping willingly into danger. The bike, abandoned in the woods, it's all that remains of another vanished boy, bones beneath the dirt. For decades they waited, silent proof of McRae's cruelty. A typewriter clacks, reports pile up, each page another child gone, another lead too late. McRae leans against the wall, silent. He doesn't need to speak. His presence alone chills the air. A lonely house stands in the fall. To neighbors, he was quiet. To police, he was hiding in plain sight. Ruins of a neighborhood. Darkness lingers where McRae once prowled. A skull, unearthed. At last, one family will have an answer, though never peace. Night falls on the city. Patrol cars sweep the streets, chasing shadows of the man they now have in custody. Red skies burn the horizon. For the families, it feels like justice is finally on the way. Inside the archives, detectives stack files higher, each folder marked with pain that never fades. Typewriters, photographs, and unanswered questions. The story of John McRae is written in grief. Neon lights blur in the rain. The city doesn't sleep. Somewhere, memories of the missing haunt every corner. In the distance, the forest stands still. It remembers what McRae hoped would stay buried. McRae walks in silence, his eyes cold, his past heavier than the chains around his wrists. The beach at sunset. Parents searched here for years, hoping the sea would give something back. A child's face, frozen in memory. McRae recalls him, not with regret, but with pride. Files stacked in steel cabinets. Detectives know his crimes span decades, but the full truth may never surface. In the dim prison halls, McRae moves like a ghost. The predator is now the prey. Autumn streets, quiet and empty. For locals, every corner feels haunted by his shadow. McRae at the carnival once more. The lights that once masked his crimes now expose him. A quiet family dinner. His son sits nearby. Did Martin know more than he ever admitted? A dark road stretching forward. For the investigation, this was never just one case. It was dozens. A book opens, pages filled with names. Victims who never saw justice in life. A lonely cabin glows in the dark. McRae once called places like this home, while hiding horrors inside. Alone in his cell, McRae sits cross-legged. His face is calm, too calm. Woods soaked in moonlight. Here, parents left flowers for children who never returned. Detectives pinned photographs on the wall. The faces of missing boys stare back in silence. Waves crash against the shore. The ocean still holds secrets McRae took with him. A man walks the final corridor. Each step echoes closer to justice. Storm clouds gather above the prison. Nature itself seems ready to witness the end. A last conversation at the table. McRae offers no apologies, only silence. The gallows in the night. The rope sways gently. For the families, this is justice. For the missing, it is far too late.